This is JBigTicket23 from GreenPCGamers.com. In this video, we are going to show you how to install 96 gig of memory into an HP Z600 workstation. So in the description of this video, we're going to post a couple links that'll be really helpful to you. And those are our HP Z600 gaming computer blog pages. Now there's two links because there's a version 1 and a version 2 HP Z600 workstation. So you're going to need to determine what version you have, and don't worry if you don't know what version you have, because we're going to show you how to check the system board to determine whether you have a V1 or a V2 system board. And it also happens to be really important for a memory install because the V1 and V2 systems support different memory. Check these pages out. These pages will have the memory part numbers, as well as a whole bunch of other awesome hardware upgrade ideas that might be helpful to you if you have an HP Z600 workstation. All right, so let's get to the actual install. All right, so you have to check your system board part number to see if you have a V1 or V2 system board before you purchase memory. The reason being is that the V1 system board will only support eDIMMs. It will not support registered DIMMs. So you actually can't install 96 gig of RAM in a V1 Z600 system. And you can check to see if you have a V1 system by looking at the motherboard. If you have a 461439001, it is V1, so you are limited to 48 gig of PC10600E memory. If you have part number 591184001, you can actually install 96 gig of RAM and your system will support registered DIMMs. Another thing to note is the registered DIMMs are quite a bit cheaper than the eDIMMs. If you haven't purchased a Z600 and you're planning to purchase one, make sure you get one that has the V2 system board. It's really important because you'll be able to install up to 96 gig of RAM, and it'll also be quite a bit cheaper than having to locate eDIMMs. All right, so we're going to remove our side panel, and we're going to give you a close-up view of our system board part number. All right, so we're going to pause this here for a second. So right here, this spare, this means we have a V2 system board, and we post that on GreenPCGamers.com too. So we'll show you those part numbers if you want to go to the site and verify. So you want to look at this spare number. If it's 591184001, it is going to be a Gen 2. And we did post the other part number on GreenPCGamers.com that's for V1. So this system will indeed support 96 gig of registered modules, and it's going to be 6 16 gig modules. A little bit more information before you actually upgrade your memory. You must have a 64-bit operating system installed if you plan to utilize more than 4 gig of the memory. So let's say you have a 32-bit OS installed and you install, I don't know, let's say 24 gig of RAM. It's going to show you all 24 gig, but it's only going to say that there's right around 4 gig usable. So make sure you have a 64-bit OS installed before you attempt this install. You must have 2 processors installed to utilize all 6 memory slots. So if you only have 1 proc installed, then you are going to be limited to just 3 of the memory slots. So keep that in mind. 1 processor installed, 3 usable slots, 2 processors installed, and you will have 6 usable slots. So that's really important before you go out and buy, a bunch of memory. All right, so here's our HP Z600 workstation. And then we have our 6 16 gig modules. Now these are 16 gig 2R x4 PC3L 10600R modules. These will run at 1333 megahertz if your processor supports it. And our processors are X5675 procs, so they will indeed run at 1333 megahertz. So we just removed our memory cooling shroud, and that's going to give us access to our 6 memory slots. So the first thing we do before we actually install the modules is we're going to open up all those slots, because that's going to make it a lot easier to actually pop those modules into place. So once we open up all those slots, then we are going to take a look at our memory modules and basically line up the notch with the slot, because it's really important to line that notch up for those modules to install properly. All right, so we're going to kind of fast forward through the actual install. Basically, you line up each module and then click the left and the right side of the module into place, and then they'll be securely installed. All right, so we've got all 6 modules installed. We're going to go ahead and put our cooling shroud back on. And then we will go ahead and put our side panel back on. All right, so that's basically all there is to actually install the physical memory. But next, we're going to actually go into the F10 setup. You can do this while the system boots up. You can tap F10, and it'll bring you into the system setup. We're just going to verify under system information that all of the memory is showing up in the system setup. So this is kind of the first step. As you can see, it's showing up as about 98 gig of RAM. We've got our 6 16 gig modules, D1, D2, D3, D1, D2, D3 for each processor slot. So the system setup is seeing all of our memory. Now we've booted into Windows 10, and the next step is to verify that it's showing up in our operating system. So we're going to right click on Start, go to System. We see installed 96 gig of RAM, and it appears to all be usable. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. All right, now we are going to go into the Task Manager under Settings or More Details. We're going to click on that and verify that all of our memory is showing up under Performance. As you can see, we're using about 3.4 gig of RAM of the 96 gig of RAM. So everything is working perfectly. And that's pretty much how you install 96 gig of RAM into a V2 HP Z600 workstation. As always, if this video was helpful to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, or you can check out our forum on GreenPCGamers.com. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you so much for watching.